Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod. That would have been the Shoop Shoop song by Betty Everett, which was playing in the Peach Pit when Rick tried to make fetch happen by turning the Peach Pit into their place. Fucking
psychopath. Rick. More proof.
Yeah.
He's a psychopath.
Yep. I am Jeff, and you shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. Wow. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my cuz-host.
I'm Leslie, and I'm going to make you forget him, Brenda.
I have my 5 fucking babies already, why don't you? All right. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are covering Season 3, Episode 13, Rebel with a Cause. And it's an important cause, a big cause, a cause to worth fighting for, or at the very least walking away sullenly from. Original air date November 11th, 1992. We're still in sweeps, so big shit's happening. All right, so this episode picks up basically where the last one left off, right? Dylan and Kelly need to go out on a date now, because Brenda and Rick are going out on a date now. Andrea is riding a wheelchair around campus, being angry at things that she can't reach, which is reasonable. Yes. She's going to blow the roof off of the way that people with physical challenges are treated in this country right after she finishes blowing the roof off the other thing. She's got to... Andrea's nonstop.
Gonna crack this case wide open.
That's right. She's Hamilton in this shit. It's just always like she's running out of time. Andrea. Brandon ain't got nothing to do, really, in this episode, except for be a bystander, which is fine. Yeah. And it all blows up. It all just blows up. Steve's still trying to get away with breaking into the school and Herberting the computers. And Hutch is trying to get that paper off of Steve and his illegal activities. And Mrs. Teasley is busy.
Busy, but she got a new haircut.
Yeah. She's great, Mrs. Teasley. She's a nice lady.
I love her. I'm already...
Brandon likes her.
She deserves so much more than these kids.
Well, she's got a lot to deal with here. She's got the break into the school that is, the police are deeply involved in this situation already. And we're not sure what, to hear Andrea tell it, the police are kind of all over the place. Either the case has gone cold, or they've got a new clue. They know that there's a legacy key billionaire boys club. It's a whole lot going on with these police. Yeah. And Andrea is trying to figure it out. And Steve is, all right, let's talk about Steve. How about that? Because I wasn't sure exactly where to start here. Yeah, go ahead.
It's broke by the end of the season.
Oh my God, just doling out cash left and right. Yeah.
Maybe by the end of the series, but I would love it. I'm putting it out there. I would love it if somehow at the end of all this, Steve ends up broke, but he's finally zen, and he joins
sure. The Peace Corps. Oh, there you go. You know what? If Steve joined the Peace Corps, do you know how many hours Brandon would have to sit there looking at his slides when he came back?
Oh God!
It would be fucking nonstop. It would just be, and this is where, and this is where, and this person I met, and it would be excruciating. And not because I've sat through this from other people. I have. It's rough. Yeah, and I was a kid too. I had cousins, like my dad's cousins. They were like Peace Corps folks. And they came back and they brought slides. And I was like, are they coming over again to show us slides? I can't fucking see them with these slides. It happened like 3 times. It was exhausting. Like, and you just have to sit there and pretend you're interested. Oh my God. Um, I hope Steve does not join the Peace Corps for Brandon's sake, because Steve is a blight. Like, he is like, his presence in all of these people's lives this episode is a drain.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse. Like, he is like, Herbert is worried, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a felony, Steve. We could spend 5 years. My dad's going to be really mad at me for going to jail. Which is fair. I mean, I guess that's probably what would happen. He'd probably be slightly disappointed, Herbert. I thought you were some major hacker. Some hacker you turned out to be. Again, Steve doesn't know what a hacker is. But so Steve is just wearing on Herbert, and like, that's fine. Just don't, as long as you don't talk, Herbert, I'm not going to, we know I'm a stand-up guy. I'm not going to talk. And so there's that part. And then there's Steve sidling up to Andrea. And at first it's like, I don't know. Do you think Steve is ever sincere in his conversations with Andrea? Because he walks this weird line, and we've seen with him up to this point in the season, like, it feels like they're trying to do a thing here.
I was going to say, this would be another interesting way for them to get together in order for him. I do actually feel like he's sincere with Andrea. Like, there is such a weird connection there. I don't know. Like, there is unexplored chemistry, and I fear it is going to stay that way. No, I do feel like he is somewhat sincere with her. I feel like he is genuinely concerned. I think a show today probably would lean in more on his manipulative tactics and have him be the next car that hits her, because she's getting dangerously close.
Yeah, I would like that if Steve just was like, guess what? Mass murder. Just vehicular homicide left and right. That's all. Again, just going to throw a Molotov cocktail at that problem and come up with a new problem.
What if Steve has a time machine and he's the one who hit her because he knew
that she was gonna.
He spends all this time in prison, and he's like, I'm going to figure out a way to build a time machine.
Oh my Lord. Steve is failing math. Steve is failing all of his subjects. He is not going to science up and Herbert is not that kind of hacker.
No.
He's not, because look, if Herbert had a time machine, he wouldn't be doing this thing. He wouldn't be doing this haircut, little ponytail situation he's got going on. So we know that Herbert is not fashion or any other kind of forward. Just not. Okay. So I think Steve feels sincere when he's talking to Andrea about the hit and run, until she says the school's going to offer a reward, and he's like, well, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. Like, don't try to find me. Like,
it's $250, and I thought, do you all not know this student? $250 is what they get in a week from their parents.
That's true. I had a this is a great story. I had when I was I took up my first job as an assistant principal, and it's early in the school year, and someone's like, that kid over there, that eighth grader, last year when he was a seventh grader, he took a bet from the other seventh graders in the class to drink his own pee. And he made like $600. And I was like, that's a pretty good deal if you're an eighth grader. But, you know what I mean? Because it's not going to kill you, right? It's like drinking a cup of your own piss isn't going to kill you. It's gonna be gross. You're not gonna enjoy it, but it's not harmful in any like real way. And he just made like the 8th grade equivalent of $40,000. And I'm like, that's a smart business plan that kid made right there. I mean, he made out big. All he had to do was drink a little bit of his own. Like, you see what people on Survivor do? Like this is not a thing. Like, this kid's just banking on other people's willingness to pay him to do dumb shit. So I don't know, $250. You're right. It's probably not enough. But it is 1993 and there's a recession. 1992 and there's a recession on. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. Anyhow, all right. So I feel like I'm sort of rolling into what this is really about with at least some of these characters, but I think part of what this episode is really about revolves around this Steve stuff, and it's there's like three things. It's about cheating, right? There's cheating all over this episode. There's Steve cheating. There's the repercussions of Dylan and Kelly cheating. There's the Brenda and Rick cheating. There's Dylan and the SATs cheating. It's cheating. What is Jim gonna cheat with Dottie? Like, just cheating. Everybody's cheating. But there's also the once again appearance that people don't want to own their own shit.
Yep.
Because like no one wants a repercussion for the thing they did.
No.
Like, Steve very much did this and is working like his ass off to make sure he doesn't ever have to pay for it. Like, it would have just been easier to study.
Yeah, it really would have.
You know? Like, studying for 4 years is so much easier than what Steve is trying to pull off here. He's a fucking moron.
You mentioned what you mentioned about them not willing to, like, look at their own shit. I'm sorry. It took me directly to, a newly famous, not newly, it's a year-old song lyric now, but they'll still stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror.
Right. No, of course. Yeah. Like, they're like, Steve is like, you should do this to catch the bad guy. Not if I'm the bad guy. Don't do that. Not me. Because everybody thinks their own malfeasance is justified.
Brenda's like, oh, it's fine. I got tired of his shit. He can do whatever, I guess. Now you can't do whatever, Kelly.
Right. Yeah. This is a what's good for the goose is good for the mice to play when the cat's away. Because, like, everyone is doing the same shit, but if it's not you doing it, it's a problem. Yeah. But if it's you doing it, it's totally justified. Steve is like, everything I did is fine. Everything I'm about to do is fine. I'm good. If everyone just quits fucking asking about it. It's like, it didn't even work. Yeah. Like, I'm still sitting here with shitty grades. And I still got to talk to Herbert. God, I got to talk to this guy a lot. Way more than I want to talk to him. And here he is. He's in my fetch. He's here. In the Peach Pit. What, this kid is supposed to be stuck in the quad, like an NPC in a video game, just bumping into walls. Like, that's where Herbert's supposed to be stuck. Okay. Instead, he's walking in here trying to talk to me while I'm talking to my friend in a wheelchair. She just got run over, Herbert. Show some respect. Fucking Steve. But I think Dylan is the biggest offender in this whole... Yeah, in this whole, like, it's bad that you did it, it's fine that I did it world that he's living in.
I have a whole list.
Give me your list, because I got things, but I could just go. So you tell me, you go.
Well, because this was going to be another episode where I thought I had to make a tally of who pissed me off the most.
Sure.
But I thought, no, I want to write down specific examples, because this is getting murky.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did. Yeah, because Dylan berated Brenda in class.
Yeah, didn't bring his equipment. Didn't bring the shit he was supposed to bring.
Then was like, do you want a new lab partner? Fuck off. Yes, I do, actually.
Yeah.
We're
going to fail this experiment.
He didn't, berated Brenda, didn't give a shit about her feelings, and wanted to keep lying about Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
Buddy, I think you did cheat on the SATs for how stupid you are with women.
Yeah.
And would rather leave both of them than fix his mess.
Uh-huh.
Like,
yes.
Listen, I get it. I get it when you feel like the world is doing you wrong over and over, and you're tired of proving yourself to people because you feel like you're fucking 18.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and granted, when he walked off and was like, anywhere but here, I thought, I feel that. I feel that so much. I also want to be anywhere but here. But here is a broad term, buddy, and you just mean that high school. Like,
here's a big place. Yeah.
Here is a big place, and you're wanting to abandon people who care about you.
Mm-hmm.
People who want to help you.
Yeah, Brandon's trying to help you the whole episode. So's Mrs. Teasley. She's a nice lady.
Everyone is trying to help him. He's just spiting all over their faces. So, pressuring Kelly into doing more than she's ready, not just in like the sexual sense, but just in the being together sense overall.
Right.
And again, I think she makes a really good point with, am I here just because Brenda's not here?
Right.
Like, fair point, Kelly. Well done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dylan fucking sucks in this episode.
He does. And he sucks for doing the same kind of shit Steve's doing. Like, it is so I guess it's official now. I'm a cheater.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck nuts. You cheated on your girlfriend more than once for the last 2 years. Like, we went through it last episode. There's Surf Betty. There's the girl Stacey in Palm Springs. Yeah, Stacy. I mean, it could be anybody. It's Kelly. At least 4 people. Of course, you're a cheater. It's who you are. It's what you do.
He's behaving like I imagine people after Mad Men, Breaking Bad wanted to go around with this, can't do no wrong attitude.
Right.
And then they realize, oh, there are consequences. People think I'm an ass now. And he's doing all this shit for, clearly, I guess, because he thinks James Dean is some hero, even though we don't see James Dean act like this. At least not on screen. But I haven't seen, all 3 of his movies.
Right. This is by far the least damaging thing that's ever happened at that observatory. I mean, like, if you're going to go to the observatory, it's way better that no one got killed this time. So- yeah, Dylan's got this OJ thing going on here.
Oh God.
Where like he's being convicted for something he didn't do and getting real mad about it. Like, I mean, OJ stole his own shit, but like, who cares if you steal your own stuff back? But he got away with the thing he really did. And he's mad that he got punished for anything. When you got away with the one thing, you can't. It's like that when in TV shows that are like cop dramas or lawyer shows or whatever, and someone is like they're accused of murder, right? And they're like, I didn't do it. I wasn't even anywhere near that place. And like, well, what's your alibi, sir? I don't have an alibi. And the I don't have an alibi is because they were having an affair and they don't want their wife to find out that they were with their mistress, and so like they have to lie about it. So they're getting accused of
the dog.
That's right. Yeah, and so they're getting hung up on something they didn't do, trying to avoid paying the price for the thing they did do, and he's looped in here, and the SAT people are like, yeah, you cheated, fuck you. And he's like, but I didn't cheat in that instance.
Right? This is the one time I did it. There was no woman.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't. And here's the other thing. Why does he fucking care? He doesn't even want to go to college.
Right.
he took this test. I don't know why, because like he said out loud, I don't want to go to college.
Yeah.
And now he's willing to burn his life to the ground because he didn't cheat on this test that he doesn't actually care about. And
like you've said you are mad, bad, and dangerous to know. You
mm-hmm.
really, and you're worried about being accused of cheating, ruining your reputation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which is it, Dylan? Which is
Yeah.
it?
You know who I am. They know who I am. Everybody knows who I am. Even the SAT people, they know who I am. They probably are like, he didn't cheat on this test, but we know about this girl thing. Like, fuck this kid. Like, if I'm hope that the SAT people are like smacking him down because he cheated on Brenda. I think that's what I'm hoping.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, but Brenda too is mad at other people for doing the shit she is doing herself. Like she is like, I dumped Dylan because I could go out with Rick, and I'm mad at Dylan for going out with Kelly after I broke up with him. And I'm mad for at Kelly for going out with Dylan, even after I told her it was okay. Dylan can date whoever he wants.
Yeah, and like all of these things would be logical for you to be mad about if you hadn't been on some, I'm above this breakup. It's been 48 hours. I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he wants. Again, we're seeing the worldly traveler of Brenda slowly falling away. Every bit of zen that she achieved in France is falling away. And I'm like,
it's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Because, like, honey, you probably only got so mature on that trip anyway. And also, we saw you. You were on one.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's like, do you ever work with somebody who is like super stressed and cranky all the time? And then they go, well, okay, there you go. And they go, okay. And then you go away for vacation for like 2 weeks and you get like centered and you're like, whew. And you come back to work and you're no longer hunched over. Like your posture's a little bit better. Like you're kind of rolling with it. Like, oh, that really helped. And then like the first person you talk to puts you right back in the shit mood that you were in before you went on vacation. That's what's going on here.
I think we can both agree that that is probably what's happening when I get into a show, you know? It's like I've had this time away, gone through all the steps of like, oh my God, who am I without a show? Who am I? I'm okay. And then getting something happy, great, and then that first day, oh, I'm reminded of all the problems in this business.
Right. Yep. Yeah. It's always nicer when it's like a theoretical thing as opposed to a real thing. You know, like it's theoretically fine if Dylan dates whoever he wants. In reality, it's bad. It's real bad. It feels shitty that he's dating anyone. It's feeling real shitty that he's dating your best friend who looks like a duck and walks like a duck.
What a stupid line.
I know, but it's one that people are like, it's one of their favorites, you know? It's one of those ones that people hang on to.
We were seeing some fire behind the eyes of Shannon in this scene. I was just like, oh, she's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't blame her. I mean, like that would be like, it's easy to say like, well, Brenda, like if you hadn't broken up with him, like, you know, he wouldn't be dating Kelly, but also they're both real shits to her.
They are.
But it's, and like,
but
I think
she should not have slut shamed Kelly. That was a bridge too far. Be mad at Kelly, but do not poke at the wound that is her biggest sore spot. Don't do that. You're her best friend.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think Kelly is taking way too much shrapnel here. Because like, although Kelly's definition of at arm's length is something to be quibbled with.
Yes.
Like if this is arm's length, like, cause that's where she kept Dylan all summer.
Yeah.
So I don't fucking know about arm's length, Kelly, But again, it's Kelly like excusing her own behavior, but being mad at other people for doing the same thing.
Right. And she's also kind of going through a similar thing that Dylan is with, well, why try being anything else than what people paint me as?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. If people think I'm a cheater, I'm just going to be a cheater. There you are. God damn it. I don't know.
I was going to go. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking how I feel like this episode is very much about how, just because it looks good doesn't mean it's going to be good. That cake looks really tasty. It could taste terrible.
Right.
Going back to cake again, but cake's easy. But
is it cake?
Exactly. Is it cake? Steve thought the legacy key looked so good to him.
Mm-hmm.
It's brought him nothing but trouble.
Yep.
Nothing but problems. Monsieur Rick looked really good to Brenda. Someone stable, which, again, I think is pretty gross because she has a thing where she realizes, oh, you're not a writer?
Right. He said, you said you were French.
Right.
You told me your finger was a gun.
Also being grossed out, like, I'm dating my father. Okay, that's fair. No one wants to realize that, but also that's just going to naturally happen with some people. And again, I think everyone is choosing drama over stability.
Sure.
But Dylan, Kelly looks really good,
Kelly, by the way, not for nothing, Kelly and Brenda both look really good in this episode.
Great wardrobe. Great wardrobe, fantastic
and hair.
Makeup. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, their hair looks amazing. This is how their hair should just always be.
Yes.
But go ahead. Sorry.
Dylan looks really good to Kelly. And so far, again, this has all been more trouble than it's worth. Where I thought, and this is where I'm like seeing the cracks in the friendship group because you have this big cheating thing at the center of it. But then you also have Brandon now knows about Steve and the legacy key and most likely what happened. And like, that's gonna cause a rift between Brandon, Steve, and Andrea. Yeah.
Yeah. And Steve is out there. This is why I fucking hate Steve so much in this stretch of episodes. He is out there like pretending to be offended that other people think he is exactly who he is. Like, sure. Brandon, how dare you accuse me of this thing that I did? Like, he's Gru at the beginning of Despicable Me 2. He is, first of all, you can't prove I did that. Second of all, after I did do that, I put it back. Like, that's who he is. You don't accuse me of doing the thing I did. Rude. What kind of friend are you, Brandon, for thinking that I am who I am?
Yeah.
And like, remember last year or 2 years ago when the first time that I talked to you, you said, let's cheat on this test? Like, this is who you are, asshole. Don't act like you're offended that other people see you.
Right.
And that's, like, Dylan's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yes, you're a cheater. Don't be mad that we know you're a cheater. Like, it's infuriating to me. It's ridiculous bullshit nonsense.
It feels nice to not be
up frustration
today.
Oh, I'm so irritated by these assholes. I
am too. I'm just tired.
Yeah, I get it. All right, let's talk about the other thing this episode is really about, which is no one is comfortable with people looking up to Jim. No one is okay with this. Don't put Jim on a pedestal. It makes everyone feel gross.
Is it just because they think he's super nerdy and uncool?
I don't know, but when Rick is like, the Jim Walsh who wrote Last of the Dying Tax Shelters for Business World magazine, the Jim Walsh?
No.
The Jim Walsh who has the keyboard my father built? like Brenda is so skeeved out by Rick like idolizing Jim, and then both Brandon and Cindy are really not cool with Dottie being like, Jim, you're great.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, like I'm watching it last night, and Laura doesn't watch the show, but she listens to the podcast. So shouts to Laura. And she couldn't stop laughing at the scene where Brandon is like, Mom, do you really think a girl that looks like that is interested in him?
That was so rude for so many reasons, because he thinks he's dissing his dad, and it's like, you're also calling your mom not hot.
Right. But Laura was like, that's so funny to watch it. And because Jim's like, stop helping. Like,
you know what cracked me up was in his little fantasy scene, the hair thing. I went, oh God, why did you put that?
Yeah.
Because that, shout outs to the actress, she tried, but it was so unnatural. Now, complete non sequitur, I want that skirt.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, you know what? We'll add it to our thrifting board. Yeah. I just want Dottie.
Fair.
No, I don't.
I don't. My God, that was
they're so big.
So big.
Out. Yeah, it's real big. And the other thing Laura pointed out was she saw Dylan and Rick on the, not Dylan, Brenda and Rick, and she's like, that's Rick? Yeah, they look good together. He's cute. And I was like, yeah, that's fucking Superman. Like, you know.
I mean,
but like she knew who he was because she'd heard us talk about him, but didn't like no picture in her head. So
that's funny.
I was like, wait till you see him sing with Jim.
You mean me saying he's a modern day looking Gene Kelly didn't give her all the indication she needed?
I guess not. I get, you know, maybe she doesn't have like Gene Kelly in her brain all the time. Like she's supposed to. But like the Dottie and Jim stuff is one, Dottie needs to calm the fuck down. Like, quit calling the house. Like, go home, Dottie. I get it. You're like, you're trying to impress. You're trying to like, you know, turn this part-time gig into a full-time gig, and that's admirable, and I understand it. And you know, as someone who has been a contractor who became full-time, like, yeah, you want to do a good job. You want to show your value, and that it's worth keeping you around, and all that kind of stuff. But working until 9:30 to type up something and then drive into Jim's house, it's too much, Dottie. Calm down. Just fucking relax.
Too much. Like, I've temped. I never was given access to go above and beyond, or maybe it's just I didn't take initiative. But honestly, as I was watching, I thought I was treated very much like this is temporary. Like, and I was fine with it.
And not every job is like working at the Beverly Hills Beach Club, where you just get the keys to the place the first day and you're the first one there and the last one to leave. Like, not everyone, Dottie should not have been allowed in the office by herself until 9 o'clock at night. You don't know this, she didn't even work here really. Like, she works for a temp agency. Like, she could steal all your computers and shit. She could act like the cleaning company and just take it all, blame it on Dylan. Nobody would know any different. He's a cheater after all. But I'm not comfortable with people idolizing Jim. That's very clear to me. I really am not comfortable with Jim and Rick singing Jerry Lee Lewis and flipping their ties. And Rick, every line pointing at Jim. His choreography is it's stiff. Like, he doesn't even have a starburst in there or any jazz hands. He got none of it. He just has
I'm a point at him.
That's right. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Fucking Rick. But then, and Brenda is so uncomfortable with the idea of anyone idolizing her father that she immediately dumps this guy. She's like, look, I blew up my spot for you, but that keyboard shit is a bridge too far. Like I can't even.
To be fair, he was also giving some. I mean, she's not going to recognize the red flag of someone being completely okay with your conning them, but
Right.
the trying to make the peach pit theirs,
Uh-huh.
the comment about marriage and 5 kids already, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I would have been running. I would have been like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my God, someone's calling me. I'm so sorry. I have a family emergency. Bye. I know it's
Yeah.
1992. Nat, they have a phone there.
Nat needs me to go be Laverne. I'll be right back.
I would have been like, oh my God, I'm being triggered because I was held up at gunpoint here. I gotta go. Bye. Just lean into the
Yeah.
crazy.
I did like Donna and David both meeting Rick and being like, I don't even know what to say to this guy. Like, hi, Rick.
There was so much cringe in this episode.
Yeah, it was very awkward all the way around.
I tried to start a list for. I tried to include Rick on the list of people aggravating me, and I was like, he's just a psychopath. Like, he's not the worst person in the episode because he's a psychopath. Like, also, he's not coming back, which or I'm hoping he's done. I really think he might meet Dottie, and then they're the new Jim and Cindy.
I don't know. They're both very brunette.
Listen, brunettes seek brunettes sometimes.
I guess that is the most brunette possible relationship, Rick and Dottie. Is there anything else that this episode might really be about?
No, I think
we haven't really talked about Hutch all that much, though.
I mean,
we haven't talked about the blackmail of it all.
He makes me uncomfortable, and not like just because again he's so okay with blackmailing this kid.
Sure. Well, he's been a janitor there for 15 years. He's had to deal with these asshole children for a long time. Like, this is probably not the first legacy key situation he's dealt with.
I feel like on the Only Murders version of this show, we have a Hutch-based episode, and he's like, I'm so tired of these kids.
Yeah. There's too many murders in this building.
This was supposed to be a job for a few years while I got my shit together, but I was injured from... He's not old enough to have been in Desert... Or no, he is. He's too old to have been in Desert Storm, I feel like. I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. If he was like the janitor of the Arconia, just tired of it all. Too many murders in this building. I don't like it. It's a lot of extra work. It's supposed to be easier than this. And I got this fucking asshole kid.
Kids.
And he's got a fucking curly mullet, and it's too much for me. I don't like it.
He's just very comfortable with the like, oh, well.
Who do you think they're going to believe, me or you, asshole?
Got seniority.
That's right. I am the highest.
He was using that mug, like, it was timed out perfectly, just like, this isn't verbatim, but, you know, again, this is how I saw it, like, I've got seniority.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think I believe?
That's right. I know. He is the most senior janitor.
Know when I'm going to get to work next.
Uh-huh. But I'm going to drink this coffee. I'm drinking
this coffee I'm going to enjoy these snacks. If they provided snacks then, I don't know.
That's right. I'm enjoying my cup of coffee.
It's season 3. They ought to have craft services by now, but I don't know.
They probably got food. Yeah, they probably got some food. All right. Did this make you nostalgic for anything?
It didn't, but I did think of something as we were talking.
Okay, tell me what this made you nostalgic for.
I miss temping. It is so cushy. People are miffed when I tell them about this, but whatever. It's super cushy. You just sit there. You maybe answer phones or you know, forward emails to people. I haven't done this since before the pandemic, and also I haven't really done it in New York, so that should tell you how difficult it's been to break in to temping. But when I was living in Portland and temping, I mean, I had a solid maybe 2 years of just going to different offices, sometimes being there for a month. It was great. All the coffee I could want, all the snacks I
Right.
could want. Girl was in heaven.
Yeah. I used to temp a lot when I was like when I first moved to Chicago. That's what I did. I temped in college. During the summer between junior and senior year, I temped in Bloomington. I got on with the temp agency and just did office work. And the thing that amused me about temping was if you showed even the smallest level of competency, you were king of the castle, king of the castle.
Yeah,
I have a
they
chair.
love you.
Yeah, like if you could show that you could make two-sided copies, it's like you were able to program Joshua in war games. Like you just created the technology that could simulate global nuclear war. Yeah. That's what a genius you are. And really all you did was like, oh, you want this in black and white? Boop. Oh, in color? Boop, boop. So yeah, you could feel real good about yourself being a temp if you were just like, if you just didn't drool.
Yeah.
You know, like if you walked in and weren't like, what up, dog? Then you were like the best employee that every place has ever had.
Any job that allows me to read and get paid.
Yeah.
Love it.
Solid job. Yeah. There were some temp jobs I had that were so boring. Like I had a job once answering phones for, I feel like it was a country club in Louisville. And I think it was a country club-ish kind of place. And it was just night work. Like I was there for like 4 hours from like, I don't know, 6 to 10, something, you know, when no one calls. And I literally spent the time watching the screensaver. And it was one of those screensavers where like little colored balls would bounce around and they would land on the bottom. And then the next colored ball would bounce around and it would land on, and it would fill up. And you're just watching it. And I'm like, I think it's going to fill out that line. And you just watch it. Oh, it didn't do it. This next one will. And I probably spent an hour and a half doing that. It's insane the things you find to amuse yourselves when you're temping at a job like that. Yeah. So I guess that's my nostalgia corner too, is working at a temp agency. Or the time I broke into my school to change my own grades. I mean, that someone else did it that I heard about one time. Ridiculous.
The only other thing, and this is really sad, but I feel like a lot of women are going to hear me when I say this. Maybe some men too, you know, boys have eating disorders. But just like when she mentioned, you know how many calories there are on that one bite? I was just... Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was so sad. I'm like...
It's tough.
Yeah. And again, this is 92. I feel like 90s were big time for promoting eating disorders and making people feel really weird. And I mean, people don't do it to yourself. It's just...
Yeah. It's not good.
It's not good.
No. We've come out strongly against having an eating disorder.
Edict.
Eat it. That's our position. Don't have one. That's right. Eat it. It's the eat it edict. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
All right. Who is your Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
It's Dylan.
Okay.
I just got tired of it all.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and then he leaves. Just
leaves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he stopped to say goodbye to Brandon, so that's something, I suppose.
I really hope there is going to be a reason for all of this, and he's going to come back and be like, I know who hit Andrea.
Right.
Because he was playing in the pool hall again. But
no, if he's in the pool hall, watch out. That's bad.
I know it's bad, but that's how he's going to find Gil, who was missing again because he probably had to get a new car.
And severe body work on his muscle car needed to be done. I just realized that right around now, I can't remember if it happened in the first season. It probably didn't because we weren't serialized yet. But in season 2, right around Thanksgiving, Christmas time, Steve leaves town.
Yeah.
And then this year, Dylan leaves town.
Huh.
And I'm going to tell you that someone leaves town in the middle of about this time in season 4 as well. People just leave town. I didn't realize how many people just up. I'm going to go. I gotta piss off for about a week.
Yeah.
I gotta go get involved in adventures elsewhere with adventurous other people.
Gotta lose my mom and give up too easily when they say she's dead and she's not.
Oh, you're still on that Karen Brown is not dead?
I don't know. I'm back and forth. I'm like, really? Y'all gave up that easily?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not spoiling nothing for you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're right. But I am saying that, like,
much like
that's not an unreasonable position for you to have taken.
Much like Cliffhanger, I am making a better series.
Yeah. I'm gonna hang onto this cliff. Grip strength.
It's gonna be a murder mystery.
Yeah. All right, my worst person is Steve, because I just can't handle how shitty he's treating his friends.
Yeah.
Like, he did this thing and he is treating Herbert like shit. Mm-hmm. He is shaming Brandon for, like, accurately accusing him of the thing he did.
Yeah.
He is like pumping Andrea for information, like being extra friendly with her and being like trying to maybe steer the at the base level, trying to get information about the investigation from her and maybe trying to, like, shift it another direction, all because he sucks and doesn't want to get caught at sucking.
Yep.
But I fucking hate it. He's so manipulative. He's just such a user that I can't fucking with Steve.
He's terrible. Yeah. I couldn't. Yeah. I mean, they both absolutely deserve it. You know?
They do. Dylan, like, it's amazing to me how much Dylan sucks. And Kelly sucks too, because she won't own her part in this.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I think she gets a disproportionate amount of the blame, especially from Brenda.
Yes.
And from the fans. I think she gets a lot of shit from the fans too. But I also think that she does not own her part in this at all. Mm-hmm. And it makes me irritated at her. I'm like, you cannot have your cake and also have eaten your cake.
Like, she's zeroing in on, well, everyone is slut-shaming me. Like,
right.
Okay, honey, you're right. That is so wrong. But let's maybe look at, you have had a part to play in this. You are not as innocent as you think you are.
No, you're not that innocent.
No. Sorry, honey.
No. Didn't the old lady throw it in the ocean at the end of the movie? That was my Britney Spears impression. Everyone wants to see me do my Britney dance. There you go. All right. We've run short on this episode, but I don't really care. I think we've done it.
Yeah, I mean,
this is very much a, like, things moving it along. Nothing like concludes here. It's just like the next step in all of these stories. And it's a big step. I mean, Brenda, knowing now that Kelly and Dylan are together in some way, this tension between the two of them, this Donna in the middle, potentially, like, that's not great for Donna. This is, like, it's a bit of a culmination because, like, a lot of this stuff has been building to this happening. but it doesn't. It's not the culmination even of the episode. Like that scene in the restaurant feels like it should be credits, but instead we have to go watch Rick sing afterwards, and like it's just more stuff has to happen. Dylan has to walk out.
I feel like everything's going to come to a head when we meet Waste Management, and that seems so strange. But like David was mentioning the upcoming, what is it, Battle of the Bands? Which I'm like, David, you're not a band.
No.
You were one person and a bunch of like.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like shit's gonna really hit the fan then in San Francisco or wherever this is happening.
So it's happening next week. We are going to meet Diesel Stone and the Waste Management. Next week's episode is a big flaming pile of dog shit.
No,
no, the Waste Management stuff is kind of amazing. There's so much ridiculousness, but what Dylan gets into when he leaves town is, I don't even know why we're doing it. No one does. No one knows why Dylan does what he does next week and meets the people he meets and why this was necessary. It is, it's better not to even get into it, but we're gonna get into it next week.
I don't know why my brain went to, he's gonna go back in time to a Hooverville and like
that'd be
talk
great.
to the local hobos. I don't know. That's where my mind went because my imagination is just running rampant today.
Gotcha. There's not a in a few episodes there's not a Hooverville coming up, but there might be kind of a Potterville, because there's an episode coming up, episode 16, called "It's a Totally Happening Life." And I'm going to let you know that we're going to have to find a way to watch It's a Wonderful Life with that episode.
We haven't. Let's do it.
Yeah. It's a Totally Happening Life is preposterous. I mean, it's just, I don't even know what show this is we're watching when It's a Totally Happening Life happens. But it's one of, like, again, because I love when the show's ridiculous, I love Wild Horses next week. I love fucking Diesel Stone and the Waste Management. And I love It's a Totally Happening Life. Because they're so fucking, I don't even know what. But some shit does hit the fan next week, and we're gonna have to get into it. With fucking Diesel Stone and the Waste Management, and at least one horse. What are we going to watch this week?
Oh God.
What'd you say? Wait a second. What'd you just say?
He go to a ranch?
Does he go to a ranch? It's an interesting question. He might go to a ranch.
Stop it. Don't. This brooding man does not deserve to be extra attractive around horses. Stop it. I'm mad at Dylan. He sucks right now. We can all do better than Dylan. I'm sure. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, what are we going to watch this episode? So
there's a couple different ways we can go with this. We can go a Blackmail direction. We can watch something about Blackmail. We could watch a movie about bosses having affairs with secretaries. Like that's a genre of picture we could choose to watch. We could watch something about a love triangle, I suppose.
Pearl Harbor.
Flash down.
Nursey.
What if one of our airmen died?
We're boinking in the helicopter pad.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm going to say this out loud, and I feel as soon as I say it, you're going to say, let's do it. I just don't know what I got to say about this movie, but I'm sure we'll find something. We could watch Clue. Because it's about blackmail. Yeah. Okay, we're watching Clue.
I need it. We deserve this.
Yeah.
We
do. We deserve Clue.
That is one of the movies I mentioned the other day to people when we were particularly sad for something people will not know. So I said, you know what we all need right now? We need Clue.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to watch Clue this week. So join us on Friday, Cheesemeisters, for Clue. We both love it. Everybody should love it. Everybody does love it. Who is
so sick of us by the end because we're going to just perform the whole thing.
That's right. Just trying to quote it all. Yep. 2 corpses. Everything's fine.
This is a free country. Don't you know that?
I didn't know it was that free. All right. So we're going to fucking watch Clue. I'm not even sure what the spelling connection is, but it's a movie from like 1984. There's bound to be like 6 of them. So, and then join us here. Join us here next week for Wild Horses when we finally get to explore in depth David Arquette playing a guitar. Axl Rose is a sellout. So until then, Cheesemeisters.
Bye.
Bye.